Swami Babaji. Okay, Babaji, my question is that what message is the Creator, the Almighty, trying to give us through this dreadful and painful episode of COVID?
The problem with human beings is that we don't learn. We teach history in school so that we don't make the same mistakes again. But have we learned? And if you don't learn, then you bring all these tragedies on yourself. So we have destroyed the environment, we've destroyed everything around us, and that's why we brought this on to ourselves. We keep on blaming others, but we need to blame ourselves. Is this the legacy that we want to leave for our children?
No.
So this is an opportunity for us to stop and think as to what we are doing with the world around us and what steps we should take in the future.
Yeah. Babaji, but is suffering such a necessary part of human existence? What would be if people didn't suffer at all? What would it be like?
If they would learn, why would they be suffering?
But is it so necessary to learn it such a hard way? Look at what's happening around at the moment.
You tell a child a fire is hot. Until you are looking, he stays away. But the moment you are not looking, he'll put his hand. And unless the hand doesn't burn, he doesn't learn. So that's the problem with human beings. They don't learn. If you could learn without burning your hand, why would you be in such a situation? The problem is we don't learn.
Won't there ever be a point when it'll be less and more bearable?
No, there will always be a point, but let's see as to what we need to do. Why blame others? If each one of us thought that, okay, where have I gone wrong? Let me see how can I correct and create a harmony within my life, and how do I respect the environment around me, the world will come back to normal.
Thank you, Babaji. Raswami.
Raswami Babaji, can you please advise as to how we can find the balance between the mind and the body, and should we always listen to our intuition?
Beta, what is the intuition? I think we take out different meanings out of this word intuition, but basically it stems from an increased awareness. Now, awareness is born out of the experience that we go through. And so the mind starts projecting certain things, but then we are still in the control of the mind. We need to go beyond mind and Maya. If we want to essentially experience the truth, we need to go beyond mind and Maya. So till we are within the ambit of mind and Maya, I would not trust anything until I don't feel, see and experience for myself. And balance is essential in everything that you do. Would you advise somebody that he should be sitting in the shop 24 hours of the day? He should go home, he should rest, he should eat. So isn't that essentially a balance? Child says, I don't want to study, I want to play. You tell the child, no, there's a time to play and there's a time to study. Isn't that balance? So there are 24 hours in the day, sufficient time for us to pay attention to our work, to our families, and to the spiritual aspect.
Thank you. Yes.
Radhaswami Babaji, thank you for giving me this opportunity. My question is, when one has been on the path for a long time, how does one know when the time is right to be initiated?
But if I keep on thinking and I keep on planning, will I get anywhere? Somewhere the action has to be taken.
Yes.
Now, if you don't take the action and I keep on planning, what's going to happen? So that's the problem with most of us. We feel that somebody is going to come and take our hand and say, okay, come. Now, nothing happens on its own. We have to start the process. Now, yes, at different time of our life, we wanted different things. But there comes a time when you start understanding that what I want is peace of mind and happiness. So the question is, how do I get it? Am I going to get it from money, from relationships, from positions? Or am I going to get it from within myself? And if I'm going to get it from within myself, then I need a path which will take me within. If I just keep on thinking about it, oh, I'm going to be very happy, I'm going to be very happy, will that make me happy?
No.
It's just like reading the label on the medicine without taking the medicine.
Thank you, Babaji. Radha Swami.
Good evening, Master. My question consists of two parts. Firstly, for initiates who are single and who with His grace try to do their meditation regularly, but haven't reached the level of spiritual satisfaction. And since they're single and they don't have a life partner to consult their life's problems and matters, is it okay if they consider the Father as an invisible companion or guide and talk over their daily matters and issues and expect some sort of guidance from Him?
Beta, actually, the idea of life is to help us to come to terms with ourselves, to tune into ourselves. And once you have a comfort level with yourself, you'll never be worried or scared about anything. Anyway, the answers are going to come from within, not from outside. Outside people can give you their perspective. They can give you their thoughts. But whether it applies to us or it doesn't apply to us, that's a different matter altogether. So if we do our meditation, and if we are able to come to terms with ourselves, there's no question of needing some exterior support. Exterior support is only sought when inside we become blank. So at the ending of the day, we have to seek within anyway.
True. And secondly, Master, if at a certain point, can we expect the Father to help us sort out our emotional needs if we're not able to do so on our own?
See, beta, what is the role of the master? The role of the master is like a parent. What does the parent do? Parent will take his children through the experience of life, through ups and downs, so that they can stand out on their own feet. The role of the parent is fulfilled when he finds his child standing shoulder to shoulder with him. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean the easiest thing is to do everything for the child, but then the child won't learn.
It's true.
So sometimes he'll let the child make mistakes because that's how he will learn. He will let the child fail. That's how he will learn.
So
And
can we hold on?
it's the same with the master. He's there to support us, he's there to guide us, but the action has to be ours.
True.
Each one of us will learn from personal experience. Until that experience is not there, it's not just, you see, in today's day and world, we are sort of confusing knowledge and understanding. When you read your scriptures, when you hear satsangs, what you get is knowledge. Knowledge is a perspective. Knowledge helps you to conceptualize. Now, those concepts are as much a part of, an illusion as anything else. You don't know what the reality is. Is it wrong or is it right? When you put it into practice, practice gives you experience, and experience becomes the basis of understanding. And with understanding, you will reach that level of faith.
Thank you, Master.
राधा स्वामी बाबा जी, मेरा सवाल है कि ज्यादातर हम अपनी जिम्मेदारियों के कारण इस दुनिया के झमेलों में उलझे रहते हैं। आप फरमाते हो कि जब मुश्किल की घड़ी आए तो उल्टा और भी भजन सिमरन करे, लेकिन उस वक्त मन में कई तरह के डर, दुविधाएं और शिकायतें होती हैं, तो भजन सिमरन बनता ही नहीं, खाली एक पुकार होती है, बाबा जी मदद करो। एक बात को सुलझाते हैं तो दूसरी सिर के ऊपर होती है। तो बाबा जी, ऐसा तो किस प्रकार हम जहां से छूट पाएंगे?
बेटा, बड़े महाराज जी फरमाया करते थे कि आप चाहे अपनी कमजोरियां लेकर आओ, चाहे ताकतें लेकर आओ तो सही। अब देखो, कोई बीमार है, अब चाहे जितना मर्जी सोचता रहे, जब तक डॉक्टर के पास जाके दवाई नहीं लेगा, दवाई को नहीं खाएगा, तो कैसे ठीक होगा? अगर देखो, जिस चीज के ऊपर आप ध्यान रखेंगी ना, प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर ध्यान रखेंगे, प्रॉब्लम बढ़ती जाएगी। सोल्यूशन के ऊपर ध्यान रखेंगी, जरूर सोल्यूशन मिलेगा। तो हमें तो ये देखना है ना कि इन चीजों का हल क्या है, और जब तक मेरे अंदर वो ताकत नहीं होगी तो मैं कैसे सामना कर पाऊंगा। ठीक है आपकी बात कि उस वक्त और कुछ नहीं सूझता, मगर हम उस वक्त भजन सिमरन में बैठेंगे, अंदर मन शांत होगा, तो अपने आप हमें आगे बढ़ने की ताकत मिल जाएगी। और अगर उस शांति में ही हम जुटे रहेंगे तो फिर तो इंसान कोई ऐसा गलत कदम उठा लेगा जिसका और पछतावा होगा। तो ये बेहतर नहीं है कि जब भी कोई दिक्कत आए, तकलीफ हो, हम अपने आप को शांत करें और सही तरीके से सोच विचार करें कि मैंने आगे कैसे बढ़ना है।
ठीक है बाबा जी।
Radha Swami Babaji. Babaji, when I sit down for meditation, for 1 hour I do Simran and then I have to change my position. And also when I sit down for my bhajan, I cannot sit down more than 15 to 20 minutes. So my question is, can I do 1 hour Simran and then sit down for 15 minutes bhajan and then again continue 1 hour Simran and 15 minutes bhajan?
To start with, yes. But once you get used to sitting down better, it'll come to you easily. Don't worry. Then, today we are fighting the body, the mind is there trying to trouble us. So it's a question of getting used to it. Practice makes perfect. Once you get used to it better, your bodily pains will be the least of your problems.
Thank you, Babaji, and thank you for coming into my life. Radha Swami.
Babaji, this brother says he was initiated by Master Sharan Singh and he passed away without he was able to see him personally. He only has his picture, and the current master was not the master who initiated him. He asks, in moments of meditation, should he focus his thoughts and the feeling of love in Master Sharan or in the current master?
Brother, visualization is not in our hand. Only Simran is in our hand. Now the mind is very strong, so mind gets easily influenced, and many times, because we have had more of an association with the present master, you may be able to see him. But when the actual dhyan, actual visualization takes place, it will always be of your own master. So you don't have to analyze, you don't worry.
Thanks. Thank you, Babaji.
That's one. Master, the sister asks if it is correct for her to try to know how the mind works through other ways than Saint Mat. For example, for other kind of books, movies, and so on.
I don't think so, sister. So far, anybody has been able to understand how this mind works. You see, mind is like the memory of a computer. Now, when you buy a computer, the memory is blank. So, what do? You start feeding in a program. Whatever is fed into the computer, the output is going to be based on the input. So similarly, the mind is influenced. All the influences it collects, that becomes the memory. And how we react, what we do is based on that. Now that can't be changed because every action that you have taken, what is karma? Action, reaction, consequence. So whatever is there in the memory is all the actions we've taken, all our past experiences. And that cannot be changed unless we don't feed in something more positive and start diluting that negativity. But I still haven't come across anybody who can explain the working of this mind or how it gets influenced.
Radha Swami.
Radha Swami Babaji, I make an effort to meditate. Please teach me a strategy to enjoy meditation.
Sister, initially I agree with you because we are not getting any result, so it seems difficult. when the child goes to school, everything seems to be very dull, very boring. But once he starts learning, when he starts understanding, then he starts enjoying it. So we need to be persistent. If you are persistent and you sit down every day and do it, when the consciousness starts arising, you will learn to enjoy your meditation. It's something natural that will come to you.
Another question is, an initiate is allowed an external treatment that contains eggs, beer, or fish products, such as hair, skin, and another.
Why would you want to do that? I think today alternatives are available for everything. So why would we want to use these products?
Not these products.
Yeah, we should avoid, sister.
Thank you, Babaji.
Radhaswami Babaji, in life, one wants to achieve certain goals, but in spirituality, everything is meaningless. Babaji, how does one go through life without wanting to achieve goals? And how does one obliterate one's ego while still being a human being? Is it possible?
Yes. Ambition is not bad. Where does it say in spirituality you should not move forward? Or you should not seek to make your life better? Now the question is the means that you adopt. So it ends up in ends and means. Should we improve our lot? Yes. Should we look towards earning more money, having a better house, better circumstances? Why not? But what happens is that the means that we adopt sometimes are the wrong means. So as long as you're adopting the right means, you're not compromising on your ideals, there's nothing wrong in moving forward. Life can't stand still. You either move forward or you move backward. So it's better to move forward than to move backward, but not at the cost of our ideals, of our values.
Radhaswami Babaji.
My humble question today is, how do we grow from spiritual knowledge to spiritual experience of our true self being in oneness with the divine?
You see, brother, in today's day and age, we have confused knowledge with understanding. The day of the net, you can press one button and get all the knowledge. But more knowledge means more confusion. It doesn't mean understanding. That knowledge that we get from our scriptures, from discourses and everything, that knowledge has to be applied. Action has to be taken. When you take the action, like we say, seeing is believing. When you take the action, that will give you the experience. And experience teaches you the difference between concepts and truth. Then you know, because you have experienced. And that gives you an understanding. And that understanding will help you to build faith, not just knowledge.
Which is my point. How do we grow to achieve that experience of the oneness with the divine? Experience,
meditation, experience. So as you go through the meditative experience, you are going beyond the physical. You are entering the spiritual realm. This physical realm is very limited. How much you can see, what you feel, it's all very limited. But once you go into the spiritual realm is unlimited. Then you are going beyond the physical. So your experience then is going to widen your horizon. And that widening of the horizon then helps you to understand, see and feel, which will give you the understanding.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Radhaswami Babaji. Question, Babaji, or comment. Saints recommend a householder's life for spiritual growth, but the family unit, as we know it, is collapsing and marriages are disintegrating. Divorces are up. Our children are now living in relationships without marriage. And now we find ourselves endorsing it or even justifying it, which is totally against Santmat principles. Would you give me kindly care to comment on what's happening in globally with our young children who are adopting this lifestyle?
Sister, a householder's life is advocated because it helps you to bring about a certain balance in your life. Now, as human beings, we need support. Like we say, no man is an island. Each one of us, we need support. You need a partner with whose help you can go through the ups and downs of life. And if you can have a partner in your spouse, that makes life a little easier. Why aren't we getting married? Because we are running from responsibility. To say that somebody's marriage didn't work, so my marriage is not going to work, it's never like that. If one person has an accident, does the full world stop driving cars? These are justifications where we are shirking our responsibility. Now, marriage is basically to bind you down in a certain responsibility. When you have a responsibility, you know you're responsible for your spouse, for the children and everything. If you're in a live-in relationship, they're jumping from partner to partner and I don't know what they are doing. It's so easy to just get up one day and walk out and say, no, I don't like you. You don't do it with marriage. Hazur used to say that if you want the shoe to stay on, you have to tie the laces.
Absolutely, Babaji. But I mean, it's the new normal now, and
No,
we are
there's
forced
no,
to
no, no, it's not. There's no new norm. It's basically what we are doing. We don't have the guts to speak to our children in that manner, so we are just accepting it. But that doesn't make it right.
Okay, Babaji, I thank you so much for that.